Hello everyone, this is Mikedot and welcome back to the channel. I'm joined today with my bro Afromania. How you doing?
I am tired right now, Michael, and I can't feel my legs at the moment, but we gotta talk about games.
Yeah.
Games need to be talked about.
Okay, if anyone's curious, my bro just came back from Capoeira.
You don't need to mention where I've been right now. I'm just tired. My legs can't be felt.
Well, I just did. What you could do about it? I mean, really, seriously.
People don't need to know about my life, Michael. We just here to talk about the games, man. Shoot.
I know, it's just, well, still.
I don't tell people about what you do in your life, Michael. So, like, why you gotta let people know about my business?
Well, because, like, it's fun. Okay, no, seriously. Anyway, there is some strange stuff to discuss. Some very interesting things. I'm sure you've all heard by now the whole leak with Pokemon and whatnot. And yeah, it's a leak that basically contains documents regarding like lore and like story elements that were pretty much scrapped when it comes to the base, like, you know, game of Pokemon. And some of the stories have been, well, kind of on the creepy side. Yeah. Also, we want to talk about Ubisoft again and how they're
Michael's favorite company at this point.
Well, it's not my favorite company. It's the company that's always in like the news cycle at this point.
You love this company.
I don't love
so
this
much
company.
That we talk about it almost every podcast at this point.
No, I don't love the company. They're on the news cycle all the friggin' time, and for the wrong reasons. Because right now, Ubisoft is the strike. Yeah, it was mentioned a few times that employees want to go on strike, and yeah, the strike is going on right now, and apparently it's gonna happen for at least 3 days. Like,
okay, so like, what's the point of going on a strike for 3 days? That doesn't really make much. Like, what do you accomplish in just going on a strike for just 3 days? Like, why did they put a timetable on a strike?
well, yeah,
France is funny.
Yeah,
is a funny
okay,
country.
so yeah,
Oh, God.
yes, but working unions over in France suggested to go on strike for at least 3 days. At least. It could go on further, but saying 3 days of missed productivity is still a lot, especially for a company that's in dire straits right now. And yeah, while the employees losing 3 days, personally, it's still a fair chunk of change to lose, but compared to the company as a whole, even just 3 days is devastating for Ubisoft right now.
Is it? I guess.
Maybe devastating is too strong of a word.
Yeah, I don't think it's devastated. Yeah, I think it's a little too overblown when you say devastated for 3 days.
But yeah, it is still
It's not like the writer's strike, you know.
True, but
that went on for like 3 months.
Yeah, it did. And I can argue that like the whole situation with the writer's strike was actually something that the companies actually kind of wanted, because like a lot of these like and also the whatchamacallit was, yeah, the Writers Guild strike I was talking about. Yeah, the Writers Guild strike. Yeah, it was something that the Hollywood execs kind of wanted to happen because they greenlit so many shows and they kind of wanted a reason to cancel a lot of them.
Well, I guess. I mean, if that was their game plan, that tomato. I mean, but at the end of the day, what I'm just basically saying, how is a 3 day strike? Again, maybe it is something symbolic right now in terms of what the company's doing right now. So honestly, I mean, we've been rambling around. We actually really have to discuss the reason why they're having this 3 day strike.
Yeah. Well, again, it's over like remote work.
Okay.
And pay, because like, you know, a lot of people really don't want to go back to the office. They're very used to working from home, and I get it. Yeah, it's nice to work from home, but working from home also has its negatives over like due to the fact that like it's hard to actually manage people when they're working from home. They can goof off a lot, and a lot of people, you working from home requires a lot of discipline. And
Which maybe they had. Maybe a lot of the people.
True. I'm not saying they
had
didn't.
it.
I'm not saying
know?
they do, but you gotta admit there are some people that take advantage of a remote work and like use that to kind of.
And that might be true, but that can't be said for everybody.
Yeah,
that
I'm not, and I'm not.
That wants a decision right now at the moment.
And I'm not. I'm not saying that.
Okay,
I know you're
not.
It's just that I can see both sides of the argument when it comes to remote work. Yeah. Yeah, and obviously just being in the office, you're kind of just wasting a lot of the space if no one's gonna utilize. So many people aren't going to utilize it. I mean,
people
usual.
who go to offices tend to waste their time either way. Like if you've ever been in an office environment too, it's not like anything really productive gets done in 9 out of 10 in the offices. Not all the now. I'm not saying that for everything right now. I'm also just opposed to that as the people who were to work remote are just as productive as people that were in the office. But at the same token, it's like, it's varies for people's work environments and situations. Now, one reason where I will agree with you is that you would separating work from home is very important.
Yeah.
Like you be able to come to your house and decompress from work is where I would agree with you on that. You don't want to bring the work home with you. And unfortunately, with remote work, unfortunately, everything is kind of, mixed in together. But at that total, if Ubisoft as a company can figure something out right now that can at least appease their workers, I mean that's a simple win that they can kind of get at the moment. Like you said, with a company that has so much going on right now, so many fires that are like happening right now, I feel like this is one where Ubisoft kind of needs some kind of support at the moment right now, so they can kind of get back on track of hopefully turning the ship around and making decent games right now. Not to say that's going to work at the moment, but I think that's maybe one problem this could be easily solved if they wanted to.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It's really like, they
need all the help they can get at this moment.
Yeah, true. You're right. They do need all the help. So yeah, this hurts Ubisoft more than it hurts the employees in this current state. So
like I get it. I understand that like Ubisoft doesn't really lose anything because, like you said, 3 days of wages, and with inflation and everything that's happening in France and even just the economy in general right now, that hurts these employees right now. But just for a perception right now, again, like I said, they're not in the news for any good reason. So Ubisoft just stepping up and just taking care of them and just kind of just washing up real quick would be smart on their part.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I totally get you. Like, I've also heard rumors that Assassin's Creed Shadows might actually be delayed even further now. It's not because of the strikes in particular, but just because the game is in a very, very like iffy position at the moment. And they really they cannot, everything is kind of the future of the company is kind of hinging on this game at this point. They can't afford, this game cannot afford to fail. It really can't, especially after how bad Star Wars Outlaws did and how much like Skull and Bones cost. Apparently that cost $800 million to like even more so than Concord. And that was stretched out over years. Like, what are you doing?
well, with Skull and Bones, that game's been in development hell for almost a decade.
Yes.
So that I can understand.
Well, same thing for Concord. Same thing with Concord. That was 8 years. 8 years in development.
But I think Skull and Bones was longer than that.
Yeah, well, yeah,
much
it was.
Longer than that.
It was like
I remember reading a lot of like old Kotaku I can keep screwing that company up.
Yeah, Kotaku.
Kotaku. I know.
Don't worry, it's okay to screw up that name.
Yeah, but because I've read a lot of articles from their end, and they just talked about how the teams kept on switching over for that terribly. So that I can see though. Yeah, but yeah, Assassin's Creed's one of their strongest properties, even with all the controversy that's been hitting it at the moment. And at one end, yeah, they need to somehow fix this mess, but at one end, it's like, you delaying it more isn't good.
Yeah, I would say so. So, well, like I said, like, this company needs to have a win at this point. Anything else is basically like, nail in the coffin.
Agree.
But anyway, getting into the big topic for this episode. So there's a huge leak that's going around regarding Pokemon, and basically how they revealed like years of like stuff. This Terra leak. The Terra leak included like 25 years of never before seen art assets, documents, even like games that were canceled.
And apparently in the doc, apparently the sequel to the Detective Pikachu movie was in there as well.
There was also, I believe, like design documents for a Pokemon MMORPG, which is something that everybody has been wanting for years. And
Nintendo doesn't like money that much.
Yeah, they like money. Just they like to make a lot of money, but not
enough.
Not.
They don't want to look too greedy,
Exactly.
They want to look humble. All right, we don't want to take everything,
Yeah, but it's just like some really cool stuff. Just like, and it also confirmed a lot of things, especially from the artistic side, that I know a lot of quote unquote fan artists are jumping for joy about. But that's neither here or there. The big part of the leak was a few like lore leaks, especially one featuring a particular Pokemon, Typhlosion. I believe that's how it's pronounced. But actually, it's from, I believe, from Gold and Silver. And it actually was one of my personal favorite like Pokemon from that generation. And apparently he is featured in a lore story regarding him, this particular Pokemon kidnapping a girl and doing some unsavory things to that girl. And the internet was pretty much exploded over the leak, and the leak of another like story featuring a slack off and like sacrifice. Let's just say sacrifice. A lot of sacrifices happened in this leak. But yeah, like, what are your thoughts?
They don't call them Game Freak for nothing. Okay? I mean,
so people call it the Freak Leak.
Yeah, so we talked about this, and I know, again, when some jackass leaks stuff like this, again, it was clear these were ideas that were never supposed to see the time of day. But most importantly, in terms of the video game development creative process, you're going to get a bunch of people together, and you're gonna come up with some crazy shit right now that you want to put out to when you're working on building a game. You're gonna test out some weird ideas. Some of them might be way too out there. Like I said, I think we sat down and talked about it. Some of these ideas of animals, bestiality-ish things that are happening. These are kind of goofy stories and lores that you would also kind of hear from Japanese mythology or Greek mythology, or mythologies and stories like that. So if you look at it in that point of view and where the developers got their inspiration, and hey, how can we borrow these ideas to, and then later on tone it down to fit the game product that we are trying to sell. I mean, it's not out of the crazy loop that they will have these discussions and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Like, a lot of people did really point out that it's when you really take a moment to get past the shock value of the story, it does very much have some parallels to like Japanese folklore, and especially when it comes to yokai stories that are intended to be told to children to scare them from, you know, doing this and that.
Almost like a sense of morals and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the Typhlosion, the Typhlosion story is supposed to convey, as well as the. But although it is still messed up, it's still hard to deny that it is messed up.
There's some freaky mother out there, man. Shoot. Yeah, but again, like you said, a lot of the games that we sit down and play are borrowed from a lot of these stories, and you know, they're translated to fit, you know, into game form. Like look at like right now, Black Myth Wukong being the biggest one, Son of Wukong. Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. And
Goku,
like,
Son Goku. I mean, that's
obviously,
this is
those
where
are
these
parallels.
lores and parallels are being played around
obviously.
and then brought into video game form and stuff like that.
Of course. So, like, obviously, a company like Nintendo, well, there's games, like the Pokemon games have always had like some dark undertones, but obviously it's not up front and center, and they want people to connect the dots about like how these things come about, like the story of Lavender Town and how people passed away and how their spirits have turned, the spirits of these people have become Pokemon, and or something like that.
There's a lot of dark undertones for a lot of for
even like these games. Yeah. And now, unless you're like Power World, that just straight up tells you that this game is fucked up. This POW, like people died here. Like, no, this POW is used for executions. And this POW actually fucks people. Like, we're just gonna straight up tell you what it is for POW World. That's the big difference between the two games. And that's what makes POW World
Nintendo's subtle.
Nintendo's subtle, like pocket pairs in your face.
Yeah, it's very direct.
Yeah. But anyway, what do you think about the topics we discussed here? What do you feel about the strikes that's going on with Ubisoft? Do you feel that the strike is justified, or do you feel like it's just like hurting the company for no good reason? And then what do you think about the obviously the huge Pokemon League? Do you feel like some of the games that the concepts and the art revealed was cool, or do you just think the freaking like Pokemon lore story are messed up?